Hello again. Have you ever been taken by surprise by something? Ooh, I didn't see that coming. Do you know what happened last time I recorded one of these videos? That was quite a storm, wasn't it? Well, right in the middle of making the video, the lights went out. My name is Ian Currey and this is Thinking Out Loud. Come on, let me tell you what I think. I love a good storm. You'd think I'd be more wary about lightning, especially having been hit by it twice already. On one occasion, I was walking not far from here with Hillary. It was a muggy day and a little rain in the air, but since both of us grew up in countries where it rains a lot, we both know that really there isn't bad weather so much as bad clothing choices. We had on raincoats and even remembered to bring along an umbrella. But that lovely umbrella was part of the problem. I seem to remember smelling something in the air, but before either of us realized a storm was brewing, bam! That first lightning strike with its instant simultaneous thunder. No counting the gap between the two. This was right on us. The lightning hit the umbrella and my arm, knocking me to the ground. Hillary was, of course, terrified. "Are you all right? Are you all right?" I wasn't hurt badly at all and had just a couple of burns on my arm and wrist. But it, of course, could have been much, much worse. The spark from my wrist to the ground was spectacular. You'd think I'd be worried about being alive or something, but the very first thing I thought about was wondering if, knowing the relative humidity and the length of the spark from my wrist to the ground, if I'd be able to work out how many volts that was. A lot was the answer I came up with while the doctor explained what could have happened. But that part I knew already. Despite experiencing the dark side, the danger and pain of a thunderstorm, I'm just fascinated by the colossal power that can be held inside such a storm. When I'm flying, especially at night, I enjoy looking down on electrical storms far below. Flying along as fast as we do, seeing storms pass by so very fast, can be quite spectacular and gives a totally different perspective on things. On the ground, things take quite a bit longer to pass by. During the storm last week, the power was out for several hours. But during that time, I set up a camera and recorded a time lapse of what was going on outside. At any one point in the storm, you'd perhaps be afraid of the thunder, or perhaps wondering why the sky was so turbulent. But looking at it sped up many times, it's quite beautiful. But have a think about that for a moment. That same storm that was so stunningly beautiful, that took the power out at our house, blew trees down all over town, and not far away did quite some considerable damage to homes and businesses. When we're in the thick of the storm, there's quite a different feel to things, isn't there? Is it going to get us? Is my roof going to stay on my house? Will the rain stop before the lake overflows? Unfortunately, we don't get to see the big picture with all the lovely light and rolling clouds at the time. No, we get to be in the teeth of the storm instead, wondering if everything is going to be all right. Of course, I'm talking about a physical thunderstorm. But this same idea can sometimes apply to other storms that are going on in our lives. While we're going through things, the right here, right now, they can feel terribly mysterious or even scary. I don't need to spell it out. You get the idea. A relationship, a job, a family member, a situation that gets out of control. You know, the sort of thing. When we're in the middle of it, it just hurts. And sometimes a lot. I know my default mode is generally very positive. When I get pushed down, I bounce back. But there does come a point with all of us when enough is enough. Recently, I've had a few of those days while I know the storm will pass and I may come to see the bigger picture. Right here, right now, can be less than ideal. By now, you'll know that as a follower of Jesus, I'm going to default to leaning in that direction. I'll even dig around for one of those famous Jesus quotes to help defend my choice. Here you go. Don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. See, I told you I could find something. So don't worry about those mean people bothering me at work or that difficult family member. Lovely. But this is a very dishonest way to do this. I can't just go around picking out favourite sentences and Jesus quotes and then lobbing them selectively at my stormy issues. If we say we are going to follow Jesus, then we can't just follow his way of doing things when it suits us. What about the other things he had to say? But to you who are willing to listen, I say, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Ouch. That's a tough one, isn't it? Did you see how with something as tough as this, even Jesus starts by saying, but to you who are willing to listen? Mostly when people are mean to us or cause us harm, that willingness to listen, especially when what's coming next is love your enemies, really feels like a bad day in a very bad storm. I've been in situations where rather than loving someone, I've wanted to slap them sideways. The least I can do is stay away from them and ignore them. I mean, some people are just plain trouble. Yes, they are. But the problem with being honest about how we follow Jesus is that Jesus didn't say, love your enemies unless you feel like slapping them sideways first. We're back to that, but to you who are willing to listen thing again, aren't we? I suppose the question that has to be then is not how bad is the situation that I'm in, not how rough is the storm, or even how ugly people are to each other, but rather, am I one of those who are willing to listen to all of what Jesus said, and not just the parts I rather like? Until next time, goodbye.